Welcome back to another Meta Monday. Today we're covering one of the fastest one-shot decks in the format, Raging Bolt. Now, if you love deleting Pokemon in a single swing and are tired of playing Gholdengo, then this is the deck for you. And in this video, I'll show you the list that I've been testing, break down the core cards and tech options, and then jump into some games so you can see just how explosive Raging Bolt really is. Now, and here's the list that I've been running, and the game plan is very simple. You use Teal Mask and Noctowl to set up your board and load energy into play, and then you send your opponent's Pokemon straight to the discard with massive one-shot attacks from Raging Bolt. Speaking of Raging Bolt, that's our first core card. It's your main attacker. It deals 70 damage per energy discarded from your field, meaning if you can get enough energy down, you can KO literally anything in the game. Now, to go along with that, we have Teal Mask Ogerpon. This card is crucial. It helps accelerate energy onto the board and draws a card at the same time, and sometimes it even attacks if the matchup calls for it, especially in those dark type matchups. To go along with that, we also have the other star of the show, Noctowl. This is the engine of the deck. Since you're constantly putting energy into play, Noctowl is perfect. When you play it from hand, you get to search for any two trainers. Just make sure though you already have a Terra Pokemon in play or the ability won't work. Now, and as for tech cards, we run 3 big tech cards. So we have Slither Wing, which is the Pikachu EX answer. With so many Terra decks running around right now, Pikachu EX is at an all-time high. So we wanted a strong fighting type that can one-shot it, and with Slither Wing, it does exactly that. Now, we also have Jamming Tower as another tech option. There are a lot of tools in the meta right now, and this is both a stadium bump when we need it, and a way to disrupt your opponent's setup and turn off all of those pesky tools that our opponent's decks are playing right now. Our last tech card is Glass Trumpet. Some top Raging Bolt players have been testing this card, and I wanted to try it out too. It recovers energy from the discard and accelerates it back onto the board, which is great, but honestly, I didn't use it that much, so feel free to swap it out. As for recommendations for what to swap it out for, I would recommend Energy Retrieval or a third Rescue Stretcher instead. Now, and if you want to try the list yourself, it's down in the description below. With all of that being said, let's get into game number 1. Alright, so here's the first game for you guys, and we see a Fez on our opponent's side. They're going first. They play down a Wochi, and as for us, we top deck into a Jamming Tower, which our hand is just really bad. We do have a Latias and a Hoothoot on the field, but we have nothing else going for us. So I just wanted to look and see exactly what that card was that they played on the bench. Because it is a full art, it was kind of hard to tell what it was, and it's the Wochian EX. Now, here they do have the Forest of Vitality into an Iono, so hopefully we get a better hand, and this is a much better hand compared to the previous one. And our opponent has the Ivysaur into the Mega Venusaur right away, so this is turn 2 for their Venusaur setup. They also play down a Chikorita, so we know that they're trying to set up their Meganium at the same time. For us, we are going to get down this Fan Rotom, and then we will be discarding that Iron Leaves because it's just not going to be necessary here. We will be attaching an energy to the Fan Rotom, retreating, and then we can just swing for 70 onto this Fez. Now, in here, they draw for turn, and then I guess that they still are just bricked in their hand, so they just pass the turn. As for us, we top deck into Ultra Ball, which is huge, but now I have to really think about what do we discard for this Ultra Ball in order to get what we need. So what I'm going to do is, I know I'm giving up one of the Noctowls, and then I'm probably giving up this Sada's Vitality as well. I could have given up the Crispin instead, but we can use this Crispin to actually be able to knock out the Fez this turn. So first, we're going to get the Teal Mask. This is going to allow me to draw a card off of that draw, and then we can play down the Noctowl now, be able to use it since we have a Terra Pokemon, which is going to be able to get us our Nest Ball, and then we try to figure out what do we want to get with it. I'm thinking about getting the Stadium here, but at the same time, I kind of want to set up for next turn as well, just so that way then we have some more plays and have more energy to use. So I just grabbed the Earthen Vessel instead. Now, with this Nest Ball, we are going to get down the Raging Bolt, and then with this Crispin, we are going to be able to immediately power up this Raging Bolt. Now, our turn is pretty much finished. All we got to do is just retreat, attack with the Raging Bolt, and we have to decide what energy to get rid of. We are getting rid of that grass from the Teal Mask and the fighting from the Fan Rotom. That way then we can still guarantee another attack with this Raging Bolt next turn as long as it doesn't get knocked out. Our opponent does promote their Mega Venusaur, and then they finally find a Ultra Ball, which gets them the Bayleaf, and then they get a Meganium down. The issue is that they have no more cards in hand, so all they need is a single energy, and then they're back in this game. As for us though, we top decked the Crispin, which is huge, and with this Earthen Vessel, we're first going to be able to set down the other Teal Mask in our hand and be able to draw 2 cards, but more importantly, putting 2 grass energy on the field. Then I just do a little bit of calculation and see that I do need 2 more energy to be able to take the knockout this turn. So I do use this Crispin. I am going to be just putting the energy anywhere because it doesn't really matter as long as our Raging Bolt had the fighting and the lightning to be able to attack. This is going to take all of our energy off of the field, which is going to put us in a predicament unless we can find another way of being able to attack. But at the same time, we're down to only a single prize card remaining, while our opponent still needs 6 to win. So with our opponent seeing the writing on the wall, they just scoop. Now, I know that the first game wasn't that amazing. The second game is definitely going to be much closer. One of the big things that is with the Raging Bolt is generally your opponent is going to scoop early if they see that you can get an early attack and they can't come back from it. Now, here in the game, we are playing against Alakazam, so this is a single prize deck, and it's going to be much harder for us to actually win this game. Now, we do top deck into that Ultra Ball, and since they played down the Artisan, we will be using their own Artisan to find our Fan Rotom. Here we're going to start off by also drawing a card with our Teal Mask, then we'll use the Fan Rotom, getting double Hoothoot plus a Noctowl, being able to get those 2 Hoothoots down, be able to get down from this Nest Ball our Latias, and then we can actually attack this turn with the Fan Rotom. So we have this fighting that we're going to attach. Now, I will say that there was a huge play that I could have made here that would have kept our Fan Rotom safe while still being able to take a prize, and that's using Prime Catcher. So instead of doing that manual retreat, we could have used the Prime Catcher, brought up the Fan Rotom, be able to knock that out. That way then they don't have a answer to our Fan Rotom right now. Here they are using that Artisan, and we see that they are running the Shaman, so we know that Baby Raging Bolt isn't going to be very helpful anytime soon. Now, with this matchup, we do have to be careful of which 2 prizers we have on the board because it's going to be very easy for our opponent to take a single one-shot on one of our 2 prizers because it's based off of the cards in their hand rather than any sort of modifiers on the board, like how our Raging Bolt needs energy. Now, here they are using a Buddy Buddy Poffin, getting down another Abra, just so that way then they can guarantee that they at least have that line somewhere on the board. Here they do take a knockout on our Fan Rotom, and for turn, we draw into a Ultra Ball. So first we're going to use Artisan. I'm debating about still getting down this Baby Raging Bolt because it is a single prizer. It can still do enough damage at some point to be able to one-shot a Alakazam when they bring it up, so we can still use that. And here I make another mistake. I do use a Earthen Vessel, which is the right choice, but instead of getting rid of one of the Ultra Balls, I actually just get rid of that Slither Wing, which is a single prizer that we could definitely use in this matchup. Now, in here, from this Noctowl that we play, we are going to find Crispin and then Nest Ball. This way, we can get down a Raging Bolt, be able to swing with that this turn, take a knockout on this Fan Rotom, or be able to just use this Prime Catcher and take a knockout on their Kadabra, making it a little bit harder for them to actually get into an Alakazam. But since they do have another Abra on the field, all they really need to do is just top deck into a Rare Candy plus the Alakazam, and they will be able to take a knockout on our Raging Bolt. So that is one of the detriments with this matchup too. So here our opponent is choosing a new active. They decide to go up with the Fan Rotom just because they can freely retreat it. Here they are going into a Kadabra, so we know that they can't go into an Alakazam this turn. And one of the things that they could do now, since we see that they can't go into the Alakazam, is they could boss up our Hoothoot and get rid of that, making it a little bit harder for us to get extra energy on the field or to be able to get rid of their Kadabra. Now in here, they're going to play down a Tulip, being able to get back double Abra plus that Kadabra, just so they can get more Abras on the field. So we know that we're going to have to deal with even more of them at some point. Here for energy for turn, they are just going to play their Enriching Energy, which is their ace spec, and then put down a Dunsparce, being able to draw a total of 7 cards using only 2. Now with this Artisan, they will get another Dunsparce down, and they do have the counter catcher to be able to bring up the Hoothoot and take a knockout. So we're not going to have access to a Noctowl next turn, which is what we were really hoping to be able to do, to be able to find our boss. Now in here, we actually top deck into a Judge, and I take a second just to think about, is this a turn where I need to use Judge? With this Artisan, I'm just looking through my deck, seeing exactly what I got and how many energy I have left, because that is going to be a big issue later on. Now, and with this, we are just going to draw with that Teal Mask first, and then we do have the Night Stretcher. So with this Night Stretcher, we can get the Hoothoot back, put that down, and then I debate again about using Judge here, but I'm just going to attack, which is a big mistake on my part. I definitely should have used Judge there, putting them down to just 4 cards, forcing them to have to find another Dunsparce, plus the Alakazam, plus probably the Kadabra to be able to get enough cards in hand to actually be able to one-shot our Raging Bolt. But because we didn't do that, they do have the rare candy into the Alakazam. They will be able to have more than enough cards in hand and be able to take the knockout on our Raging Bolt because of that. Now, we do have a upside of still having Ultra Ball in hand, so that is the card that I was holding back the Judge for, but we don't have any other attackers really set up to actually be able to attack next turn. So that is the other issue with this whole play. Now in here, they are going to knock out that Raging Bolt. We will be promoting the Latias just because it's a basic with free retreat right now. And then we top deck into the Sada's Vitality. All right, so right now we are on the back foot and we're gonna have to be able to use this Judge this turn. So we're gonna start off using Ultra Ball first, getting rid of Iron Leaves and the Earthen Vessel. With this, I'm going to get most likely a Raging Bolt, but I do take a second to really think about getting Fez instead. But ultimately, I do decide that Raging Bolt is going to be necessary at some point, so we do get that down. And then with the Energy Retrieval, we will be getting back a Grass Energy plus a Fighting, and then just using our Attach for Turn onto the Teal Mask, then playing that Judge, putting both of us down to 4 cards in hand, and then we will be throwing up the Teal Mask, being able to take a knockout. Now, our opponent is still going to have a good chance of winning the game this turn because all they need to hit is 11 cards in hand, and they will be able to one-shot our Teal Mask. They do have a Dunsparce, so we know that that's 3 extra cards that they're going to be able to see, and then if they play down a Alakazam, they'll be able to see 3 more, which would be 6, plus the one that they drew for turn is 7, plus the 4 that they already had in hand is 11, so that's all they really needed. So it just comes down to, will they find their Alakazam to be able to do so? Here they go into a second Dunsparce so they can draw a couple more cards, and then they use their Attach for Turn onto the other Kadabra just to be able to play it safe in case they whiff this turn. They do use a Lily's Determination as their supporter for turn, so they could go back up to 6 cards. They find the Alakazam, that puts them up to 8 now, and then with this Dunsparce, they go up to exactly 11 cards, meaning that they can actually one-shot us now. They do play down the Fez just to show that they could draw a couple extra cards, but this is game for them. Raging Bolt is absolutely the deck for players that want speed, aggression, and the ability to one-shot anything in the format. When it sets up, it feels unstoppable. You're constantly drawing cards, loading energy onto the board, and just deleting Pokemon every single turn. It rewards smart sequencing and planning your energy ahead, but once you get the hang of the engine, it really clicks and can easily win most games. If you're looking for a fast, explosive meta deck that isn't Gholdengo right now, definitely give this one a try. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell. I post new Pokemon TCG content every Monday, Thursday, and Saturday, and you don't want to miss what's coming next. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.